Hey, Jamsters, thanks for pressing play. Welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast, an early Sunday morning edition, 8:30 in the morning. We got some football going on in London, but you know what? We figured we'd take a step away from watching the Vikings play their second consecutive game over there in London to continue on our journey previewing divisions as we prepare for this 2025-2026 season. Matthew, starting to feel like it's in rhythm now, right? You know, we've got a post-game podcast under our belt. It's starting to feel a little bit more like, Arizona's version of fall outside. Basketball's back, baby.
Yeah, I'm totally excited. And I am. It is Sunday. It's early. Football is on today. So you gotta start drinking, right?
Dude,
Already?
it is like pop them if you got
I
them,
got
Suns
something.
fans. I know it's early, but
some.
like, okay, what do you got there?
It's a Huss Brewing Oktoberfest.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very appropriate. I just got
gotta
like
do
a
it.
Dos Equis.
Oh,
All right, well, pop them if you got them, Suns fans.
it's cute.
I know it's early, but you know what? It's never too early to share a beer with your bros.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
You know what I was just thinking about, Matthew? I was thinking about all the way back on Wednesday when I was very excited that Mookie Betts hit a single that scored their first run of the game in the bottom of the third. It really just takes me back. But we're here to talk about the Northwest Division. We're finally in the Western Conference. We've done all of our Eastern Conference conversations and taken a look at those teams that we'll see just twice a year. And now we're going into the Western Conference and a tough a tough division in the Northwest Division, because this is a division that has those vaunted Utah Jazz, the Portland Trailblazers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And, right here, Suns Jam Session, again, brought to you by FanDuel. When we talk about odds, when we talk about who's going to win this division, who do you think has the best odds to win this division, Matthew? The fact that you're thinking this long concerns me and reminds me that you're not much somebody who doesn't bet.
Who do you think? I don't know.
It's the OKC Thunder, bro. Like,
You think so?
I know so. They're minus 360 favorites.
No, I'm kidding, dude.
Minus
Of course
360
Of course, it's OKC,
favorites.
dude. That team is styling. They're best friends too.
But what's interesting they're styling. They're our best friends. Still the worst fucking logo in professional basketball, in my personal and professional opinion. It's like Thunder. Okay, we'll put OKC. We'll put a little triangle behind it and two swooshes. Like,
Do they update that ever? You think, or they just keep it?
they should update it, man.
I don't know how they would.
I've seen some decent I follow a lot of like graphic designers on Twitter, and you'll see them constantly just crank out, hey, here's another redesign. I've decided to redesign that. And like every time I see an Oklahoma City Thunder redesign, I'm like, yeah, that's easily better than what they have. But they don't. They don't redesign.
I think they would have to recolor too. Like just get new colors, all of it.
I'm okay with the colors.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
You're okay
with
the colors?
They've got like
that's
5
what it looks
of
like
them.
a Circle K, or not a Circle K, but
It's
a truck
Loves.
stop. Yeah, it looks like Loves.
They have Loves as a sponsor on their jersey, and it looks exactly like Loves. So I guess it makes sense. But let's start at the bottom of this division. Okay, there's actually two teams that are both plus 25,000 to win the division, and that's the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers. So which way do you want to go first?
Let's get the Jazz out of the way.
Okay, the Utah Jazz. They added via trade Yusuf Nurkic. I know that guy. They got him from the Hornets. They also got Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson, both from the Miami Heat, and Gorgis Niang from the Boston Celtics. They lost in free agency to the Knicks, Jordan Clarkson. They traded away John Collins, who's now with the Clippers, Colin Sexton, who is now with the Charlotte Hornets in that trade for Yusuf Nurkic, and Reggie Lewis Jr., with the Boston Celtics. They still have some unsigned free agents, but in the draft, they kind of shocked everyone at number 5 by taking Ace Bailey. Everyone thought he would drop to 6. He tried to navigate his way to Washington, but no, he is now a member of the Utah Jazz. And then they moved up, and at number 18, they took Walter Clayton Jr. from the University of Florida, national champion, and then John Tongue. Look at that guy's last name. What's that, Tongue? At the 53rd overall pick. So they're projected starting 5 for a team that's $152.1 million in the cap and won only 17 games last year and was last in the Western Conference, is Isaiah Collier, second-year player out of USC, Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler. Okay, walk me through that mess, man. The Jazz. Like, what are your impressions of what the Jazz did this offseason and what they could be this season?
Just like the Horny Hornets we talked about last pod on Wednesday night. We talked about the Horny Hornets, and we were talking about
all the way back then on Wednesday night.
Long time ago. I can't believe it's already Sunday.
I know, man. Tomorrow's like already Monday. Like, didn't the weekend just start?
Yeah, I already have the Sunday blues, whatever they call it. I love the fact they got Ace Bailey. Like, they went against the grain, and they're like, we're taking him. He didn't want to go to Utah, obviously. He just did get rid of his manager heading into the season. I think this guy's going to explode this year. He obviously has high potential to be Rookie of the Year. This team's just going to be fun to watch. Just like, the Horny Hornets and Colin Kniffel. I want to watch them because of those 2 rookies. That's the only reason. Whether they're going to be good or not, I don't think so, obviously, because the West is just so loaded. So obviously they're a team I have outside the playoff race. But they're still fun to watch, though, right? You think? Marketing?
They do have a lot of young talent. It's the one thing I'll give them. I guess the question I have is, like, when are they going to trade Lauri Markkanen? Because he's the one thing in Utah that just doesn't fit, right? Like, he's got a ton of potential. They've definitely hitched their wagon to him. They want to develop around him. They have those young players like Isaiah Collier is a second-year player, as I mentioned, out of USC, somebody who I thought the Suns should pursue in the draft back when they had an opportunity to, but they chose Ryan Dunn instead. Not hating that decision, just thinking that, again, that's a guy who I wanted them to get. Ace Bailey, as I mentioned. Keontae George is another young player. So they have some young guys, and I guess you could say that Lauri Markkanen fits their timeline kind of. But they're a team that ice water. I don't care about. I don't care about the Utah Jazz. Am I a bad person for that, Matthew? Or
no,
am I bad because I'm drinking at 8:30 Sunday morning?
Well, for both reasons, I think you should probably end up going to church today. Maybe confess a little. The thing is, though, with Ace Bailey, I think it's exciting that they drafted him, but it's also, they suck. So it's like they always make the wrong decisions, usually in the draft, right? They have a hard time like the Hornets. So it's like, I think this time they actually got a great guy. They have someone to actually build around. I think the marketing thing, that's someone that can be traded this year for sure. But I do think they want to see what they have in Ace Bailey.
Of course.
I don't want to watch this team ever, but in the future, and obviously when it's going to be highlights on Twitter, I think they're going to be on there a lot more than they were in the past, just because they're young guys.
So this is an honest question. Which is it shittier to be a fan of, the Suns or the Jazz?
It's fun. I was just thinking, Markkanen entering his 9th year this year.
I think so.
Yeah, so Booker's obviously entering his 11th. I was thinking, like, which situation would you want to be in? Obviously Markkanen, I don't think he's ever said, like, I want to stay here in Utah, like Devin Booker has. But Markkanen, it's like, what else do I have around me? Booker actually has some pieces I feel like that he can feel around and just have fun with this year. Markkanen, I don't feel like has that, and I don't feel like Utah has really an out except for Ace Bailey, but a guy with an attitude problem too, so you have to be wary about it. And I honestly think that Phoenix, I'd rather be Phoenix. There's not a whole lot of teams ahead of the Suns that are below the Suns. I mean, that I would want to be, but Utah is one of them. That's a tough
question. So I was thinking just overall, like in the history of the franchise, but I'll go your route first, and then I'll kind of circle back to that. Because I think that if you were asking me which situation I'd rather be in, I'd probably rather want to be in Utah's situation. Yes, I feel like the Suns have more talented pieces, but all the Jazz are a team that is 2 years ahead of where the Suns are going to eventually be, right? Because they still have draft capital. They still have young players like Isaiah Collier, like Keontae George. Keontae George is a good basketball player.
He is, yeah.
Ace Bailey remains to be seen, but there's a lot of talent there. Now, my personal problem with Ace Bailey is kind of the same problem I had with Ben Simmons when he was in college, because Ben Simmons came out as a highly touted prospect, but he went to LSU, and he never made anyone around him truly better. They didn't make the tournament. They didn't win. And it was the same thing with Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, who plays for the Spurs at Maryland. Like, those were two really talented players, but they couldn't fucking win basketball games. So it's like, you can have all the talent, but like, are you a winner? You know, that's why like Con Knippel with Charlotte is a good ad, because he's a winner. He's a guy who knows how to win. He's won his whole life. He elevates those around him. And Ace Bailey, we just don't know if that's the case. It's not the case in college. Will it be the case in the pros? It remains to be seen. So, I mean, obviously, I'd like to be a Sun. I like to be in the Sun situation just because I like Devin Booker more. He's a better high-end talent than Lauri Markkanen, but you have a lot more outs in Utah that the Suns just don't have at this point in time. Now, going back to historically, if you think about it, the Jazz and the Suns, you know, they kind of are almost like that Spider-Man meme, you know? The Jazz have been to 2 finals, but they've never won it all. They're a team who consistently has had talent throughout their history, but never can put it together. You know, you go back to the Karl Malone, John Stockton era. They were perennially in the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They couldn't get it done. And this is a team that's been like actively tanking for 5 years and can't get a top 4 pick. I mean, it's fucking depressing to be a Jazz fan, and you're in Utah. Like, beer sucks.
Yeah, and I always think about, too, not always, but sometimes at night I'll lay down and I think about the Utah Jazz. And I think about, you know, when the All-Star game was there and Karl Malone was there. I'm like, was that real or did I fucking dream that? That was the most awkward thing ever. So in that case, I'll be happy to be a Suns fan.
I do like that they're bringing back the purple and, you know, teal, if you will, that light powder blue versus the highlighter yellow logo that they had in the past.
Yeah,
it was kind of gross. So where are you going to put them in the grand scheme of things in the Western Conference? What is your prediction relative to their seeding at the end of the season?
Right now, I have them at 13.
13. Wow, you have more faith than I do. I'm just dropping them right back to 15. I feel like this is a team that, to your point, you know, they might finally move off of Lauri Markkanen. They might try to bottom out again and hope that again they'll have an opportunity to get the first overall pick again. You know what I don't have? I don't have all my drops in here yet. I need the one for trivia time because I want to play a trivia time for you, but I don't have the drop. I have to look up the question anyways.
Is it about Karl Malone?
No, it's about how many times in the history of the Utah Jazz have they drafted first overall?
0?
0 is correct. They've drafted second overall once. They took Darrell Griffith out of Louisville in 1980. In 1982, with a third overall pick, out of Georgia, they took Dominique Wilkins, who was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. They took Darren Williams in 2005 from Illinois at number 3, and then Enes Kanter in 2011 at number 3. Dante Exum and Ace Bailey are both number 5 overall picks. So, yeah, they have never picked first overall. What draft pick was Karl Malone in the draft? I did not know this.
He 26.
13, just like Devin
13?
Booker.
I was going to say fucking 13.
Come on, man. You're better than that.
Doubled it up.
Dude, it's Sunday morning. You got to be better than that.
I'm not
all right.
Yet.
Well, let's drink your beer. All right. Well, the next team we'll talk about in the Northwest Conference, the Portland Trailblazers, a team that added in free agency Damian Lillard and Blake Wesley. They lost in free agency DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers, Bryce McGowan to the New Orleans Pelicans, and Jabari Walker to the 76ers. And they had a trade with the Portland Trailblazers. They sent out Anthony Simons. They brought in Drew Holiday. They took Yang Hansen at 16th overall. So they're just stacking them big men. They have a salary cap of 188 flat. Their record last year was 36-46, which was the 12th. I mean, they were one worse than the Suns. Suns were 11th. They were 12th. They're starting 5. Now, granted, I made this graphic a while ago, and I know Scoot Henderson is kind of out indefinitely. So they're going to have to shore that up. But Shaden Sharp at the 2, Tamani Kamara at the 3, Denny Advia at the 4, and Donovan Clingan at the 5. So when I look at the Portland Trailblazers, a team that is certainly shuffling the deck. I mean, they're shuffling. They fortified their depth. They got DeAndre Ayton out there. They brought in Drew Holiday to help with Scoot Henderson. God, what did he do? Was it a hamstring tear? He tore a calf muscle tear, something. Like he's going to be out for 8 weeks or something, if not more. A team that's looking for direction and trying to figure out what that next step is. And they've been doing that since the Dame Lillard / CJ McCollum era ultimately ended. They've obviously brought back Dame Lillard, but he won't be playing next year because of his torn Achilles. It's tough times in Portland, huh, Matthew?
No, I think it's gotten better, actually. I do like this team.
I do think it's better than last year. I don't know if it's relative to seeding, though. I don't know if I'll go that far.
I just the excitement around a couple players like Tamani Kamara, obviously we know him, defender of the year. He might be defensive player of the year.
Defender of the year.
Defender of the year. That's a good title right there. You think that's in Basketball Reference as a nickname for him?
I like it.
Defender of the year.
Let's submit it. I still try to get them to add the smoke break to Dario Saric's Basketball Reference page once a month. I send them an email. I go, hey man, this is what they call him in local media. And I've linked a couple articles where I've used his name, written 5 years ago. I'm like, it's a thing.
Break.
The smoke break. I want to see it on. I want to see it on Basketball Reference.
Just retire from life.
I'm like, I did it.
Yeah, Danny Avdija, though, obviously, I'm a huge fan of him. Right. I mean, he came on last year hotter than I ever thought he would have. I've always been a big fan of his. But he can be one of those guys that can be the best player on the team. He's shown it. Drew Holiday, obviously, at point guard. I don't know if he's going to be traded or what, but they got a good squad, man. Donovan Clean, you get rid of Aiden. I just like what they have. Jeremy Grant's the only kind of iffy thing. He didn't seem too happy to be back in Portland.
Yeah.
It was a little awkward.
His media day was very lackadaisical.
Yeah, he was.
I guess I don't even have him on the starting five here. So what the fuck do I know?
Well, they have him on the bench too. So
okay, that's right.
Monty Kamara. So
that's right.
Maybe that's why he just knows he's not going to be a starter, and he thinks he's a starter caliber.
How much does he make?
I bet you
send Royce O'Neal for him.
I bet he still makes 28 million a year.
Yeah, I think it might be more than that. Even let's see. Jeremy Grant. I pulled it. Yep, there it is. He's making this year's 32 million, man.
Damn.
If you take Grayson Allen plus Royce O'Neal, you still can't pay Jeremy Grant.
That's the thing, though. A lot of teams don't want him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good talent. He's fine, but he's not. I think he's more of a bench player. So.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who he'll price out, right? He'll price out. Like after that contract's done, he'll be one of those veteran minimum guys kind of hang around. You'll be excited for him, but it's like it's not Denver Jeremy Grant 8 years ago. So
no, not at all. But it's a fun team. I love Portland this year. I have them actually as 10 making the play-in this year. So
okay.
I do like them a lot.
Let's put Portland
it's weird in the West because East I would have them 6 seed.
I have them 14.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the reason why is I think that it's a team that injuries are the backbone of their identity. You brought back Dame Lillard so he can chill there and you're doing right by him, and I like that. I've always liked, and you and I've said this over the years, we've always liked Portland as a franchise. I have nothing against Portland. They've never broke my heart, and they've never really broken anybody's heart. And I like their jerseys. I always do. But I think that Scoot's already hurt. Denny, I'll say this, one, I think back to Wednesday when the Dodgers then came back and then took the lead 3-2 in the bottom of the fourth after a couple hits. And it just
what were you doing? Were you just sitting there watching the game?
Oh, I was out in my living room watching it, having some beef jerky and an ice cold Dos Equis. But it was a very exciting moment. And the reason I bring that up is because it reminds me of the excitement that Portland used to have. And then ultimately, what happens? It goes away. Excitement always goes away like a Sunday morning, because Monday's right around the corner. And Monday's around the corner for Portland. And that's the challenge that they face. And I think that if Denny Avdija is your best player on the team, you're not going to be a good he's a great role player, man. If Denny Avdija was on the Suns playing the 4, I'd take him over Ryan Dunn every fucking day. I would. At this point right now, until I see more of what Ryan Dunn can be, Denny Avdija's got it. But that's your 4th best player on your starting 5. He's your best player in Portland. For that reason, he's number 14 to me. Okay?
All right. Yeah, I'm still gonna believe in Denny. I think he'll be close to a replacement if there's like 4 injuries in the All-Star game. I think he'll have a chance this year.
Speaking of Denny's, when I was in Laughlin last weekend, we were staying at the Edgewater Hotel, and they have a Denny's there 24/7. How many times do you think we ate at Denny's?
3 times?
3 times. First night, second night, and second. Was it only? Yeah, it was 3 times. Fucking love Denny's, dude. It was amazing. Laughlin's
I haven't had them forever.
Dude, Laughlin's so different.
Yeah.
The hotel we stayed at, man, all the tables are gone. It's all machines now, which sucks because you think about it. Like if you go, let's say you go
you're
to
talking about slots.
Yeah, like slots.
Okay. I thought you were talking about tables. Okay.
Yeah, and like it makes sense from a hotel perspective because you don't have to pay anybody to be a slot.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and like we like to play craps and roulette. And if you go to a roulette table, you spin that little ball around, and it typically is like, once every 2 minutes they're spinning the ball because bets are happening and all that stuff, and then payouts. But they have these machines now that we like playing with that are, it's a roulette. It's a roulette wheel, but it's electronic, and you can sit further away from it and place your bets, but it's every 25 seconds. So they're maximizing their profitability. But what sucks is it kills the experience because the best part about a roulette table or a craps table is shooting the shit with the people around you. And so what do you do? Where do you find the people, Matthew? Fucking Denny's. That's where you find them.
Because you're sitting next to machines the whole time in Laughlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, because you don't have time. And, Bill Simmons was talking about the whole Las Vegas experience.
Yeah, I thought that was a great episode.
I never even thought about it because I remember going back there and the last time I went, I remember just like, I was at a table for maybe 5 to 10 minutes and I was done. But I remember
You're
back
done.
in the day,
it's so expensive. I
would sit there for 2 or 3 hours at
I'd
roulette.
be there for 8 hours.
Yeah, even roulette, you would have time, but it's like, nope. Then one bet's like $30-$40 and you're out. It's like, it's crazy. They don't have
I used to do
anymore.
$5 bet tables, and you show up with $100 and you go, okay, I've got 20 bets. And you can make that shit ride for 4 hours.
I know.
And man, it was fun.
It's not that way. It's not that way anymore, man.
It's not. All right. Sorry about the sidebar, people. This is what happens when it's Sunday morning. Yeah, when it's 8:44 in the morning. All right. Where do you want to go next? Do you want to go Minnesota, Denver, or OKC?
Let's go Denver, dude.
Okay, Denver, dude. This is a team that's very intriguing. They have a salary cap of 193.1, which is a first apron team. They were 50-32 last year, which was good for 4th best record in the Western Conference. If you take a look at what they added Bruce Brown back to the Denver Nuggets. They got him via free agency from the New Orleans Pelicans, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. came over from the Detroit Pistons. And then they added via trade Cameron Johnson and Jonas Valanciunas, trading away Dario Saric, who they traded to the Sacramento Kings for Valanciunas, and Michael Porter Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets, who they traded for Cameron Johnson. They also lost in free agency Trey Alexander. So if you look at their projected starting 5, it's Jamal Murray, it's Christian Brown, it's Cam Johnson, it's Aaron Gordon, it's Nikola Jokic. Tell me what your thoughts are on how the Denver Nuggets navigated this offseason and ultimately who and what they can be this season, Matthew.
Well, I think Jokic is very high on being the number 1 seed again this year. We always think of him as some guy that doesn't care about the regular season, maybe, or care to even play basketball here in the U.S. But I said that many times before, but I really feel like this season he's going to come out and try to prove that he is the MVP and probably try to win it unanimously. He's not my MVP pick. They're not my finals pick either, but I do choose them as the number 1 seed in the West just because I think they're going to win at least 64, 65 games this year. I think they're just going to be high-powered, man. He has the right crew around him now. Media day, I don't think I've ever seen him that happy. I don't know if he's on crack or what he's on, but he's
ketamine.
On something.
It's made for horses.
It might be ketamine because he's giggling up there, dude. And he's not even that funny, but it's still funny to him, I guess.
He's having a good old time.
He's having a good time, man. So I think this year he's going to kind of cream pie the whole league and just take the number 1 seed.
Well, I'm going to put him in at the 2 seed for a lot of the same reasons that you said, because I think that this team's going to be dynamic. I think that Cameron Johnson, adding him next to Nikola Jokic, is exactly what this team needed. In that slot before, you had Michael Porter Jr., who could shoot all day, but was a very poor defender, couldn't drive to the hoop, and was somewhat injury prone, but just didn't, I think, have the attitude. And we're really going to see what Michael Porter Jr. is made of the moment that he steps away from being with Nikola Jokic, just like Bruce Brown, right? Just like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, just all these guys who leave Denver. It's almost like back in the day when guys would leave Phoenix. When Raja Bell left Phoenix, he faded into oblivion. When Jason Richardson left Phoenix, he faded into oblivion as well. Because when you have an MVP level candidate whose skill set is one of distribution, it just makes you a better player. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. is going to have a rude awakening as an NBA player as to what the doldrums of the NBA look like in Brooklyn. Meanwhile, Cameron Johnson gets to go and play with Nikola Jokic, and he can shoot the 3-ball all day. But and I know, because we've experienced the Cameron Johnson experience, is he can put the ball on the floor, attack the cylinder sneakily. And I think that he can focus on defense and body some people up. I think you take that and then you combine that with their depth, and they have some solid depth. They got Jonas Valanciunas to back up Nikola Jokic, which is that kind of good 1-2 punch, bringing some physicality. Deron Holmes II is still there. Zeke Naji's still there. I like Tim Hardaway Jr., who's somebody who can kind of put in and out of those lineups with Nikola Jokic because he can shoot the 3-ball. They got Kessler Edwards there. It's going to be a really good team. And when you have somebody like Jokic, they're going to win just by showing up sometimes because he's that good. So I have them second overall.
Yeah, damn, I miss Cameron Johnson so much. I miss him just being like my favorite son, like just going to games and just seeing him out there. I'm like, dude, he just sticks out. Like I'm really excited for him for this year.
Cameron Johnson, man.
Yeah, I think I liked him more than Mikal for sure. He was, because I feel like he had a really high upside, more than what people thought. Obviously, he's not better than Mikal, but I think he just brought a lot on different parts.
Well, I think another thing about Cameron Johnson is the same reason why so many people are pulling for like Oso Ighodaro here locally. Is those guys who, when drafted, people are like, dude, what are you doing? Or the guys who are drafted in like the second round. Those are guys who, on the national level, people either scoff at or don't care about. Whereas locally, those are the guys that we are like, yeah, that's the underdog. We all like the underdog. And I think that, Rasheer Fleming is another great example of that. He's a second round pick, the first pick in the second round. But we're like, man, we're going to pull hard for this guy because he can prove some people, wrong in the fact that he should have been a first round pick, but he wasn't. He dropped and what have you. We have an affinity for those guys. Cameron Johnson was definitely one of those guys. I'm not a Denver Nuggets fan, but I know that when I watch that team, you can't help but smile because it's like Mikal too. It's like Mikal with the Knicks. The Twins will forever be in our hearts because they were so vital and such a feel good story of that finals team. And that's honestly, it's one of the things that I'm looking forward to this year with the Phoenix Suns is the fact that I have a feeling this team could be fun again because the last few years just haven't been fun. When you bring in a mercenary who can hit shots but has the personality of a fucking vending machine, it's not fun. It hasn't been fun since Mikal Bridges and Cam Payne and Cameron Johnson were here. And so maybe with the infusion of personality like Dylan Brooks and maybe Jalen Green, and come on Malawach, his young Bambi just aura about him. I think that no cap 6'7". I think it's going to be a fun ride for us, at least as a fan base.
I think so too. And you're going to have fun when you're playing teams like the Nuggets and the Lakers and the Thunder this year, where you have to just kind of encourage this team to play all out, and they're going to. And I feel like the fans are going to stick by this team more than they did the last 2 years.
I do too.
And not boo as much and just kind of stick with them and give them more support.
That's what happens when you don't have expectation. Well, here's a team that has expectation, the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that currently, per FanDuel odds, has the third best odds to win the Northwest Division at plus 1,200. The Nuggets are plus 440, and as I mentioned before, the Oklahoma City Thunder are minus 360 to win this division. They didn't do too much this offseason, Matthew. Their salary cap, they're a first apron team with $204.3 million. They were the 6th seed overall last year with 49-33 as their record. All they really did in free agency was they added Enrique Freeman from the Pacers. I have no idea who Enrique Freeman is. In the draft, they added Joan Behringer at the 17th overall pick and Rocco Zikarsky, the 45th overall pick. And in free agency, they lost Luke Garza and Josh Minott, who both went to the Boston Celtics, and then via trade, Neil Alexander Walker. So, they're starting five: Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert. taking a look at this team,
Yeah.
again, a lot of people think that Minnesota, in my opinion, is better than they are. That's just my take. And I had that same take last year because they had that run to the, they've had back-to-back Western Conference, runs. But there's something about this roster that just doesn't sit right with me. There's something about this roster when you start to get into their overall depth. Mike Connolly, is Mike Connolly even still around? I guess he is. Do I have him on my graphic?
No, is he even for the Wolves anymore?
I don't even know if he's still around.
Or like alive?
No, like in the league.
Oh, I thought.
I'm looking at ESPN and they have him as a starting point guard, but like Rob Dillingham is their backup. Terrence Shannon Jr., Naz Reid is still around. I don't know. They don't get me excited. Do they get you excited?
No, not at all.
Let me ask that question.
No, because I think they kind of reached their peak in a way. I'm not sure. What did Julius Randle do last year where he just came on? Like, was it he had like a coming God moment?
He had two games in the playoffs where he played out of his mind, and then he just was a fucking ghost.
But like
to the point where like
around?
Jake from the Suns Planet podcast said that he was more valuable than Anthony Edwards on that team. I was like, whoa, bro, how do you have a podcast?
No, yeah, he was.
Jake, if you're watching, stop.
Stop what podcasting?
Just stop. I don't know.
Do they still podcast
Sunday morning? I don't remember last time they podcasted.
So with Julius Randle, there was like some coming to God moment where he turned it was kind of like a Halliburton thing where he stopped social media or something like that, and then everything kind of just fell into place for him. I forget what it was. Was it religion? Was it some marriage? Or I don't know. But anyways, I think that he obviously will be a perfect number 2 still next to Edwards. I feel like they've reached their peak where they had their chance really the last 2 seasons to take on the NBA and make it to the finals and win. I know they had the big trade, but I think they still had decent pieces to where Edwards can use that and to be the guy and to win the finals with Dante DiVincenzo, who we weren't too excited to be added on that team, but he kind of ended up working out more in the playoffs and then towards the later half of the season. But I think there is, like you said, there's something with this team where I just don't get. It's just something's not fitting right, and something's just not so attractive about Anthony Edwards anymore, to where I'm buying in. So I'm kind of past him in a way where I'm just kind of like, like we'll see. It's like he has to kind of prove himself once again to us, but not in the regular season. I think it has to be more postseason. Regular season, I feel like this team is going to kind of take their time and not put as much effort into it. I think they're going to be at the six seed, even though they were last year. I think they're going to be the same this year.
That's exactly where I have them too. And I know that there's people probably watching along or screaming at their car or in their car as they listen to this Monday, on the drive to work, and going, what the fuck? It's Anthony Edwards. He's taking the next step. He's the next guy. Pair him with Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle. Like, how can you think that they're going to be that bad of a team? The Western Conference is going to be tough. And again, I'm just uninspired by them. And maybe that's a me thing. And I'm probably wrong because I'm always wrong.
I think a lot of people are, though. A lot of people are, man. They're just not sexy anymore. It's just not fun.
Well, what about OKC? A team that really didn't do much. The defending champions with a salary cap of only 187.4 on a motherfucking cop. 68-14 last year. First overall seed in the Western Conference. They traded Colby Jones, or they traded for Colby Jones. They gave up Dylan Jones. Jones for Jones. They drafted Thomas Sorber with the 15th overall pick and Brooks Beringer. SGA, Lou Dort, Jen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. Obviously, this is a team that I know that we're both going to just go ahead, even with their ugly logo, we're just going to go ahead and put them in the first overall spot, right? Oh, no, you have the Denver Nuggets.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, for me, 1 overall. For you, what? 14?
I have them as 3. Yeah,
3.
I have them at 3. Yeah, I think the top 3 teams. I think the top 3 teams in the West are going to be very, 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 very good, and I think they're all going to kind of sit around the 60 win total. In the past, it's always like 60 win team. They got like a couple 50 win teams. I just think these 3 teams are going to be really good this year. So I won't give away who the number 2 seed is, but 3 for OKC.
Tune in at another episode, everybody.
They don't have anything else really to prove. I think they know that they can they can beat anybody when it comes to it in the series. But also you kind of realize in the finals too that anybody can beat them. They seem so unstoppable in a way where they're like, who's going to stop SGA? He was almost unstoppable. Like he was a guy that was an
MVP.
MVP. He was a fan favorite. People loved him, but then last year everyone hates him because he's a free throw merchant supposedly, but he's a guy that knows how to win games. And I think that's very valuable, obviously, in the playoffs. But during the regular season, I don't know if I'm going to say they're going to take their time this season and take some time off and take some games off. But I can kind of see that being the thing this year for them. I still think they win 55 plus games. But I just think in the West with the two top teams, I think they're going to play a little bit better than these guys. That's going to put them at number 3 this year.
And see, I have them at number 1 because you take a look at last season, and I mean they were just so gosh darn diabolical. You know what I mean? Like, and you add to the fact that like Chet Holmgren, total numbers of games played. How many games did you think Chet Holmgren played last year?
Didn't he play all games?
He played 32.
62? He played 32 games last year?
He was injured.
Oh, my God. I don't remember that, dude.
Yeah, 2 years ago he played 82, but 32 last year. Jalen Williams played in 69. Isaiah Hardenstein played in 57. Caruso played in 54. SGA was in 76. He led the team along with Aaron Wiggins. Isaiah Joe played 74. Lou Dort played 71. I mean, last year is the blueprint for what you think they could do this year, where it's like, yeah, we're definitely going to just rest some guys up, yada, yada. They did that last year, and they fucking annihilated the league. So until somebody knocks them off, I don't see anybody who has the ability in the regular season to. Now their march to a title was certainly bumpy last year. A Game 7 against the the Denver Nuggets, a Game 7 in the NBA Finals against the Pacers that we were robbed of an epic opportunity just simply because Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. But two teams took them to 7 games. So I don't know if when we do our predictions podcast about all the different awards, the preseason jammies, if you will, and we make our predictions on champions and all that stuff, if I'm going to have them win the championship. But I think that they're just too talented and too deep and too young to not be the number 1 seed, because you need like all 3 of those things to happen. Like the Suns last year had all the talent, but we weren't competitive enough we were second oldest team in the league. This team, let's see, where do you think they stand relative to total age in the league?
Like average?
Yeah,
I can give you an average. Average would be 25.
All right, average age. And then I'll ask you this, where do you think that stands overall? So their average age is 24.5.
24.5?
Where does that rank relative to youngest teams?
Like 6 or what?
Fifth.
Like that?
Fifth youngest team in the NBA per salary swish.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a driving factor. And when we talk about like the Denver Nuggets, for example, Denver Nuggets, 27.1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th oldest team in the NBA. That's good for 2 or 3 wins, and that's why I have OKC number 1 overall in my rankings. So to wrap up this, go ahead.
Just really on the Thunder, though, do you think though when they won, the fact that everyone was more upset and the attention was taken away from their victory, more about the Halliburton injury, like all the attention was taken away, and like it wasn't, people didn't really spite them, but it was just kind of like, we wanted to see a better Game 7. Yeah. We feel like the Pacers should have won. Do you think that drives them, or that makes them a little bit more insecure this season? And then it just shows that other teams, they're like, we can actually beat this team. We saw what the Thunder or what the Pacers did. We know what the kryptonite is. We know that you can be young, you have to run, you have to beat them, obviously, but also go big. And I think that a lot of teams can kind of figure out how to beat them this year. I don't know. I think it's going to be a difficult season for them more than last year. I think
the only thing that no, I agree. I think that they didn't probably get their due praise for a couple reasons. One, the Game 7 thing was almost like, just like I just stated, I felt robbed, but also the draft was like 4 days later.
Yeah.
So every team in the NBA, every fan in the NBA, what?
Did you just burp?
You heard that?
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
I talk burped.
Yeah, that was great, dude. Very smooth.
Dude, it's 9:31 in the morning, okay? Just leave me alone.
Yeah, gotta get those burps out.
Yeah. or whatever time it is. It's 9:09. Just turned 9:10. Every fan in the NBA didn't sit around and think about OKC because 3 days later it was their draft.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
that is
day
kinda
of Game
crazy.
7, Kevin Durant got traded from Phoenix. It's
Yeah.
the same day. So that might be a driving factor for them. You know, people always say, well, once you're the champ, everybody comes and gives you their best shot. I feel like they got a lot of people's best shot last year too, because everybody was talking throughout the season that they were going to be the champions, that they were young, that they were athletic, that we couldn't beat them, and then they won 68 games. So
Yeah. But I
we'll
I thought
see.
they were going to be great. Like I chose them to be, I think, the number 1 seed last year. I just think there's just something in other teams just kind of seeing it on film now and just having their own aspirations to be the Thunder this year. I think it's going to be a crazy season out west. A
Oh,
lot of
absolutely it
competitive
is.
battles.
It's going to
every
be
other
hard to
night.
predict too. It's going to be hard to predict.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Taking a look at our predictions thus far, and again, we have 2 more episodes to go on this. We have the Southwest next, and then we'll wrap it up with the Pacific Division and talk about our Phoenix Suns and slot them in. And then we'll take a look at our holistic standings, make any adjustments that we want, and then we can predict, you know, Eastern Conference, Western Conference champions, NBA champions. But Matthew has the Nuggets first overall. I have them second overall. Matthew has the Oklahoma City Thunder third overall. I have them first overall. We both have the Minnesota Timberwolves ranked 6th overall at the end of the season. The Utah Jazz, Matthew has 13th. I have 15th. And then as far as the Portland Trailblazers, Matthew has them 10th. I have them 14th. So in my standings from the Northwest Division, I have the top 2 seeds in the conference and the bottom 2 seeds in the conference, with the Minnesota Timberwolves kind of right there in the middle. And then Matthews kind of has them sporadically throughout. So anything else you want to add on this Northwest Division before we call it a day and then go watch some football all day?
The more and more I do this, the more and more I'm like, Suns are not going to make the playoffs. But yeah, let's go watch our fantasy teams. Really quick, I looked at the fantasy standings for 3 of the leagues, and
I'm
you're
0-4 in 3 leagues, bro. I scored. So here's the story on that. In the big money league, I lost 1 game by like 0.25 points. And then last week, I scored 190 points, and I played the team who scored 194. The only team who could have beat me. I've just had a shit run of luck.
Yeah.
It's
I looked at the
horrible.
points against and stuff like that, yeah.
Though, yeah, I'm getting destroyed. In big money, dude, like I'm like 100 points more than anybody. Like everybody just has their best week against me.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to not sit there and just try to fucking mail it in because it's week 4. We're now in week 5.
Yeah.
And there's still like 10 weeks to go. You know what I mean? So it's like you can definitely turn things around, but it's just
you still got a chance, dude. Especially some of those leagues, like 1 and 3 is in the playoffs right now. So you have
it's fucking bullshit. So let's go watch our fantasy team. Matthew, you tell them what to do.
Go home, love your fantasy teams.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.